Hello, this is Harry Hobson. I'm President and CEO of Plymouth Harbor.
And I'm Karen Novak, the Administrator for Strategic Healthcare Initiatives.
Yes, you are, and you're also the point person for all of our infection control efforts here. So I continue to thank you for that. What Karen, we're going to go through and give our update again for today. It's been a very, very busy week, and I want you to tell us a little bit about that. And I know it's been dominated by, again, the governor's executive order on mandatory testing wall to wall of all the team members. And I know that number is sure far north of 400, maybe as many as 425 plus team members. So why don't we start with that? How's the testing going, and then how do we stand today as far as positivities?
With our team members, we're really doing well. I would say we have around 98, 99%. We have two outliers that we know we're going to be addressing this weekend and get that taken care of. It has definitely been fun and challenging, and we now have a process since we've got this first one under our belt that I see for the rest of the period in the beginning of September. It should roll out a little bit easier.
So regarding where we stand today regarding team members and residents, what are you reporting?
Well, currently we have, I believe, 7 total positives, 5 of which have been symptomatic. We've actually cleared 1, so we're down to 6. Forgive me. And we have 1 that is has 1 test negative already, and we have 3 that are coming in tomorrow for their first test after they're positive. I anticipate those 3 to be negative because they too now have become asymptomatic. So that's great news. We did have this week a staff member in the assisted living that actually was positive. So we kind of had to do some rounding up and identifying that and getting our process into place.
Okay. And from a resident perspective, what are you reporting?
Currently, we have no active residents that have any kind of COVID, no signs and symptoms. We have nothing, no residents, which is
Okay.
wonderful. Again, that goes back, as we say, to keeping that mask on and that social distance.
Right. And I want to spend just a few moments today, Karen, talking about that because, well, we don't want to give a false sense of security among our residents when we say we have 0 positive cases on campus. As we just said, we go wall to wall. We're required to mandatory testing every 2 weeks now for the next 90 days with our team members. So that pushes out those numbers of those 400 plus team members. We've got the 8 or 9, but we only had 5 that were symptomatic. From a resident perspective, we're not required to go wall to wall as far as the testing of the residents. On the other hand, I want to remind everybody that in each and every one of these meetings, I know you'll do it here, reminding people to come down, and I want you to talk about that. But we have tested a little over 100 of our residents just in the last 7 to 10 days. And let's talk about that first. Of those 100 or so residents in the last 10 days, how does that stack up as far as positivity is concerned?
We've had no positive residents in the residents that we have tested. We've tested all the residents in the assisted living, the memory care, and Smith care. And I tell you, Harry, we have our independent residents that actually come into my office, sit down, and talk. A lot of them are traveling from Plymouth Harbor to their other home that they have, and they'd like to be tested prior to and then upon their return. Some have just questions that they want to ask about COVID, and that's why we invite them to come down. Anytime that you want to come down for testing, anytime you become symptomatic, we want you to make sure that you come down for testing too. And those symptoms, and kind of, we screen you pretty much every day with that. I'm asking you if you have any respiratory symptoms. Do you have any loss of taste, any loss of smell, anything that makes you feel different, that you just don't feel your normal self? Come down and talk with me or give me a call, and we'll be glad to help you.
Right. So we are open to do that. So we encourage any resident. And as you say, particularly if you're having any of those symptoms, come on down. It's a very quick test. And then a few days later, we'll have the results. So I can't wait until that day comes, across the board where we'll be able to do the test, one day and within a 24-hour period, we know the results. We're not quite there yet as across the country, but I think we'll get there.
Good things coming. Definitely good things coming.
Absolutely. Karen, you wanted me to say something about campus closing and
Yes, please.
yeah, and just remind everybody that again, we are on lockdown from having visitors or guests come onto our campus. That's something very, very important now. I've been on many calls just this week alone with colleagues, and you'd be surprised how many communities like ours are going back into total lockdown just because of what we're seeing. Karen, you were mentioning some of the numbers and positivity rates earlier today.
Yes, in 30 days, we had on June 6th a 1% positivity rate. And then on July 6th, it was 11.1. So gaining 10% in 30 days is just astronomical. And our hospital beds are filling up, our ICUs are becoming quickly at capacity. I know I was talking to one of our aides this morning who came in, who actually works at Sarasota Memorial. And she said now they have an overflow ICU that they now are taking residents or patients in.
Right, right. Karen, as we're doing this update, some of this sounds negative, but I really want to point out that there's a lot of positive that we've just gone through in giving this update. Let me just talk about that again. What we just shared with you is we are doing wall-to-wall testing of all of our team members. The results of those are really very, very good. As we said, across the campus, it's been 9 out of call it 425. I know that's plus or minus, and only 5 have had symptoms, if you will. That's a positive. We've done just over 100 resident testing within the last 10 days. The good news there is 0 positive. And then the other thing is that the good news about residing here at Plymouth Harbor, if anyone wants a test, particularly if you're picking up any of those symptoms, please come down and see Karen. So there's a lot of good news there, and that's because our residents are following social distances. We appreciate that. The support from the families is huge. And the same thing with our team members. So there's a lot of positives in this very challenging time. Wouldn't you agree?
I would definitely agree. And those challenges often change. And our staff has been very fluid and adaptive to that. And we thank our residents for being accepting too of those changes,
Right.
especially when we had to open and close and then close again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we appreciate that.
Good, good. And Karen, I know there's a lot more good news, but I also know that we're coming to the end of the video. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think we need to really mention about the luncheon that we had yesterday, Harry. It was absolutely such a morale boost, and we cannot give enough thanks and sincere appreciation to the Fun Shop and the residents for giving the staff that just absolutely delicious, and I do mean really delicious, lunch.
Oh, and I know the secret. I know there's more coming because so many residents have been in to see Beth in the foundation office, and And I think there's going to be a few more of those special meals coming down over the next few weeks. And the staff really do appreciate it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I think that's what makes me so proud of Plymouth Harbor. It's our heart and our passion and our real dedication to take care of each other. And for that, we're all very eternally grateful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, okay, Karen, I will let you go through your exercise here.
Okay. Well, we want to again thank you, but remind you mostly to keep that social distance now above any time. Keep that 6 foot perimeter around you at all times. Remember to wash your hands and hit those high contact areas quite frequently. But most importantly, we ask that you don your mask and protect yourself as well as protecting the loved ones around you. So, Harry, I think it's time that we don/wear our mask.
That's right. That's the end of this video. So it is time to wear our masks. Thank you.